there is no way to physically get to 1 billion people. So I had to become a servant leader that served other servant leaders, to partner with those that already have a movement and add value to them, add leverage to what they're doing, and therefore create a greater impact through collaboration versus competition, right? And I think that's key. Too many people choose to compete where they can collaborate. Focus that who, not how. Who can you partner with to create a bigger vision, to create a bigger impact? And who is that first person, right? Like one of my favorite videos on YouTube or in the world is this guy dancing in the middle of probably a music festival or something, but he looks so cool, right? And it takes just one follower to turn a cookie nut into a servant leader.
It makes me want to ask the question, Alexei, if I can dive into you are now inspiring people and running a company one relationship away. And before that, you'd already built a super successful company and had a number of the things you may have wanted, and then you were depressed. So I'm wondering, part of your journey, you're asking the question, what's the gift in the moment? I wonder if the gift in the moment of your first company was the realization that you needed more people, or you needed to have this type of support staff. I guess I'm wondering, did you try to do a lot of it on your own in your first run of success? And your next level of success, it's now I've learned to do it and include many others. So I wonder how that plays out for you.
Speaking of the gift of that moment, I think one of the greatest gifts that I got from that amazing, powerful experience was I went from a life of luxury to a life of meaning.
Okay.
Right? And along the way, you realize very quickly, and you know what? I'm going to share it anyway because it's part of my path. And I'm going to share it probably for the first time publicly. My big dream in this world is to impact 1 billion lives. And when just like you were talking about, beginning of the story, when I started creating this pivotal moments in my life, with, listening to Ryan Moran, Mike Dillard, Hal Elrod, were, adding value to my life, I started creating some momentum in mine by, adding value to other people. After about 3 to 4 years, I realized that there is no way to physically get to 1 billion people. So I had to become a servant leader that served other servant leaders, to partner with those that already have a movement and add value to them, add leverage to what they're doing, and therefore create a greater impact through collaboration versus competition, right? And I think that's key. Too many people choose to compete where they can collaborate. And that's where really the book comes into, focus that who, not how. Who can you partner with to create a bigger vision, to create a bigger impact? And who is that first person, right? Like one of my favorite videos on, YouTube or in the world is this guy dancing in the middle of probably a music festival or something, but he looks so cool, right?
Yeah.
And it takes just one follower to turn a cookie nut into a servant leader. So who's that one person that you can pay it forward to? And maybe they're just a step or two behind you, right? They haven't gotten that aha moment just yet. See, one of my other dear friends that passed away recently, he taught me this lesson of everyone can be a hero, right? I still remember till this day hearing the first time Mr. Shakowitz shared his story. And I had no idea he was the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And having a conversation with him after he got off the stage really remind me, and I still remember to this day, and I'll honor his memory in that lesson of one person can make all the difference because of his experience. And then he did not have a very positive experience in his life. He had some amazing adversities to overcome in his life. If you guys haven't seen it, I would highly recommend watching The Wishman. It's an amazing,
Okay.
very powerful movie about the trajectory and the story of Frank's life. And in there, the moment that everything changes, he's a 9-year-old kid who was just left by his mom. He was taken away from his dad, and he has to survive in the world. And his first mentor comes into his life. It wasn't some big guru. It was just somebody who cared enough to pay it forward to him. And he said these words: if you can help someone, do it, no matter what state of your life is in. And I'm paraphrasing. But the point of it is that we can all turn back and see who's actually praying for us. See, that's one of the things I always do my best to end my talks with when I am speaking on stage, is that when you're praying for someone to show up in your life, please do not forget to look backwards, because there might be somebody praying for you. See, when I was in some of my darker moments in my life, one of my mentors, told me this. She says, you have some great problems, but why don't you actually find some people with some real problems and just serve them? And, I had some moments in my life that were difficult. And then I
Yes,
found
sir.
others that, could use that encouragement, could use that support. And by
Hmm.
serving, it made my life easier and better. And that's why I guess I'm such a big proponent of servant leadership. Being able to just even sometimes have a
Absolutely.
conversation, share a smile. You never know the difference that it will make in somebody's life, or even words of affirmation of life that can change the trajectory of a life, because you never know who's listening.
Yes. Yes, and yes to everything you've just shared. And you do never know who's listening. I bet you there are people that will hear this that may never share it with us out loud, but it did impact them. And that's a big game we're playing. So I'm with you on serving and attempting to impact a billion lives. Hopefully, this is part of the mission, and hopefully, it can help impact the world in such a way